I'm Jenna Miscavige. I was born and raised in Scientology. I left when I was 21 years old and wrote a book about it. My uncle, David Miscavige, is the leader of Scientology, and this is my YouTube channel.
Hi guys, so today is a very important video for me, and it's actually the reason why I wanted to do my cookie club. And for those of you who this is your first time seeing one of my videos, my cookie club is basically a program that I'm trying to get started on where people who have had their families disconnect from them due to them leaving Scientology, and disconnect just means cutting off all contact. I wanted to send them cookies on their birthdays and on Christmas because I think that it's sad that these people don't hear from their parents or their kids during holidays. And I just wanted to start a program where I could somehow improve that situation for them and make those people still feel love, even at a time when they see everybody else in the world like having fun with their families and all that. It makes me really sad for them to feel left out and not cared for. So that was the reason why I wanted to start the cookie club. And 3 of my friends this month have birthdays, and it is these 3 friends who basically are my inspiration for this. It is 3 people who grew up at the ranch with me. And if you're not familiar, the ranch is a place where children of Scientology's most dedicated members who worked at the international headquarters, international management base, it's where their kids grew up. And it was a boarding school, and the kids there did not get an education. They got a few hours of schooling per day, but nobody there actually has a diploma. And we were required to do 35 hours a week of heavy manual labor. And we signed 1 billion year contracts because Scientology basically believes that you are an eternal being, and you basically pledge your soul lifetime after lifetime, dedicating yourself to Scientology. And so the ranch was this place where the kids were. And these 3 friends all went there with me, all received the same treatment that I did, and have since left Scientology and the Sea Org. And as a result, they are no longer able to speak to their parents, all 3 of them. And so what I wanted to do today is, while I'm telling you a little bit about each person, I wanted to put together a little care package with cookies, and I wanted to do some granola, which is kind of a funny thing because at the ranch, we basically we had granola for breakfast every day. There was also other food. There was like yogurt, eggs, and oatmeal, but I personally ate granola the entire time that I was in the Sea Org, which was basically since I was 6 years old until I was 21 years old. I ate granola for breakfast every day, and I actually love granola. And so I thought it would be something that these 3 friends would think was funny and that they might like. It might be a little bit nostalgic for them. Hopefully, hopefully it doesn't traumatize them, but I don't think that it will. But so I was going to send granola and some cookies, and I thought I could give you the granola recipe while I'm making it because it's really yummy. And I could also tell you about these 3 friends as I'm doing it. So just to get started, you set the oven to 350, and I'm doubling the recipe. So I'm going to do 8 cups of oats. And let's see, let me make sure that's right. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to do 8 cups of oats, but I'll put the recipe in the video description. And this is just like the yummiest granola that I've found. I've tried many recipes, and then I found this one, and then I sort of made it my own. Okay, so I am actually going to have to count while I'm scooping this out loud, otherwise I lose track. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so 8 cups rolled old-fashioned oats. All right, and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Honestly, I'm the worst. I just estimate everything. And two teaspoons sea salt. If you're using regular salt, just use a little bit more. 2 cups of shredded unsweetened coconut. This is about 2 cups here. I love coconut so much. It just gives this yummy texture. That's kind of my favorite part about the granola. That was probably a little more than 2 cups, but I like it. The zest of 1 orange. I like to use a dull vegetable peeler and just peel the zest off because it does it without getting any of the white parts, which are bitter. And I just feel like it's like gets me the most zest, where if I use a microplane or a zester, I just feel like I wind up zesting my fingers off. I just love like the smell of orange, and I love the little flavor that it gives in the granola. It smells so good. And it's so nice in the morning because it kind of like wakes you up. Look at all that zest. All right, I'm going to chop it up. Okay, so I'm going to put that right in here. Two tablespoons vanilla extract. 1, 2, and let's see. 1 cup of maple syrup. I love maple syrup so much. I only use maple syrup for my pancakes because I feel like once you have it, you can't go back. And I'm a snob about it. It just smells so good and yummy. All right, 1 cup of this. Just made it. And then 1 cup of olive oil. Right. And then 3 cups of nuts. Now I usually use like half walnuts and half pepitas, which are pumpkin seeds. And make sure you're using raw nuts because the nuts are going to roast when they're in the oven, so you don't want them to get burned. But I actually don't have any pepitas today. I also use almonds, which are obviously delicious. And so I'm just going to do 3 cups of walnuts today. There you go. That's about 3 cups. All right. So I actually have 2 sheet pans ready. Here's just one with some paper on it. And so once I mix it up, I'll just spoon it onto there. But I just want to mix this so that everything gets coated with a little bit of maple syrup and a little bit of olive oil, which will just help make everything crispy, and a little bit of salt. You probably could, and the cinnamon too. It's probably actually better to mix up the dry ingredients together a little bit, but it's fine. I mean, sorry, it's probably better to mix up the dry ingredients together before adding the wet ingredients, but it's not a big deal if you don't, like me. And so when this granola is all cooked, then you just let it cool off. You can actually freeze half of it if you don't think you can use it all at once, and you just take it out of the freezer and it's just like as good as new. It doesn't lose its texture or anything like that. And like you could do, if you like raisins, you could, instead of doing 3 cups of nuts, you could do like 1 1/4 cup nuts or 1 1/4 cup raisins, or just like another dried fruit that you really like. I personally don't love raisins. And even like after the fact, like once this is all cooked up and stuff, you could add chocolate chips, like when you're actually eating the granola. My kids love to do that. And so it's kind of nice just to make a big batch, and you can use it over time. I just love granola because it's so crunchy. I love nuts. I love the orange. And it's just nostalgic for me. And even though the ranch sucked and wasn't a great place to grow up, there were some things about it that were good. We did get actually fresh baked bread every day. And that's just something that I remember and I really liked. Something that it's just like a little detail that someone with my personality would care about, or maybe other people not so much. All right, I'm just going to make sure I'm mixing this really thoroughly. Just want everything to be coated. So bear with me a little. Okay, I'm going to taste it to make sure there's like the right amount of sugar. Perfect. Perfect. All nice and coated here. All right. Now I'm going to put it on the baking sheets. Ooh. I'll just try to do half and half as best I can. And then just try to spread it out over the baking sheet, so it's like in a layer. Okay, I think that's half. This is what I was looking for. Okay, so I just use this to like smooth it out thinly and somewhat evenly, just so every little oat and nut bit gets equal coverage, equal heat. Okay. There's one. Even this out too. Looks so pretty. Looks all shiny. And I could see the little pieces of orange zest. Okay, I'm pretty sure I put way more in the other pan, but it's fine. Okay, good. So I'm going to put both of these in the oven for 12 minutes. And then at that point, I'm going to mix it up a little bit, and then I will let it go for another 12 minutes. Here we go. Okay, and while those are baking, I'm also going to make some cookies to go in the package. And I'm just going to use the classic Toll House chocolate chip cookie recipe just because it's super easy, it's super comforting, and they're delicious. And I will include this in the description as well. So the name of my first friend that I want to make a care package for, his name is Nathan, and he's my same age. And for those of you who know my brother Sterling, Nathan is Sterling's brother, but he's not my brother. So he's just my friend. But basically when before my mom had me, she had my brothers Justin and Sterling. She was married to a guy named Foster, and they had Justin and Sterling. And then when they separated, my mom married my dad, Ronnie, and had me. And Foster married a lady named Barbara and had a boy named Nathan. And Nathan and Sterling grew up as brothers together in that family. And me and Justin grew up as brother and sister together with my mom and dad. So the separation is pretty weird. But anyway, so that's how Nathan is the brother of my brother without being my brother. Because we're both Sterling's half siblings. So he grew up at the ranch with me, and he is a computer programmer, and he's a really nice person. He is shy, but he's like a great conversationalist, and he's really sweet to my kids. He's one of the only people that like gets my daughter's sarcastic sense of humor, and it's super awesome. And he's just a good friend, and I'm so grateful to have him in my life. And I just want to make sure that on his birthday that he feels loved and cared for. And when he left Scientology, basically his mother and father, Barbara and Foster, they're still in Scientology, and they're not allowed to have any contact with him or Sterling. So he doesn't hear from them on his birthday, on Mother's Day, Father's Day. He can't communicate with them. He can't get letters from them. He can't email them. He can't see them. And I just want to make sure that he feels loved and cared for because none of this is his fault. And sometimes, these are my words, not Nathan's, but sometimes it's like in the world when your own mom and dad don't love you or talk to you, it can feel pretty introverting. And so, and this is kind of just me being a mom person and putting these feelings upon him. But anyways, it's got to be a little bit true. And so what I would really, really, really love if you guys could do is put some nice messages in the comments for Nathan, just to let him know that lots of people love him and care about him and are thinking about him on his birthday. And that would mean so much to me if you could just help me with that. Okay, so for the Toll House recipe, I'm doubling it up. This is 4 sticks of butter, and I need 1.5 cups of white sugar. I'm just going to get that really fast. Okay, and I need 1.5 cups of brown sugar. I'm terrible at precise measuring, but this is close enough. All right, I'm just going to mix this up in the mixer. I'll be right back. Okay, so the butter and sugar are all nicely creamed together. So now I'm going to add 4 eggs. I crack them in a separate bowl just in case I get a shell in there or one of the eggs is bad. And I just put them in there one at a time. In reality, I never do that. I just put them right in there, but it's good practice. And I don't want to mess you guys up. All right, so my next friend who we're making a care package for, his name is Shane. And he also grew up at the ranch with me. He's a couple years older than me. He had a brother, or he has a brother and a sister who were also at the ranch. And they're also still in Scientology. And Shane plays the guitar and he sings, and he has a little boy and a wife, and he's just a wonderful, kind person. He's funny, and he brings levity to my life and to those around him. And he cannot speak to his sister or his brother or his mom or his dad. They disconnected from him because he worked for somebody who was an ex-Scientologist and was declared a suppressive person, which, if you don't know, in Scientology, that's basically declaring you an evil person who can never be a part of Scientology again. And the reasons for being declared an evil person are as simple as leaving or speaking publicly against Scientology. And so there aren't fair or good reasons for being declared a suppressive person. And so Shane is no longer able to communicate with members of his family. And the sad part is that even if one of the members of his family wanted to communicate with him, they would be forfeiting the other members of the family who are still in Scientology. And so everyone's in this terrible situation where even if they want to communicate with him, the consequences are so dire for doing that. And it's just really sad and fucked up. All right, so 2 teaspoons of vanilla. All right, I'm going to mix this up. Okay, so the timer went off. So I'm just going to stir this granola around a little bit, mix it around. Just a tiny bit. Doesn't need it too much. And I'm going to do that with the one below as well. And then after that, I don't touch it because I actually like a little bit of chunky granola. So. All right. That's good enough for me. All right, I'm just gonna get the stuff at the bottom of the bowl. Okay, now I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons baking soda and 2 teaspoons salt. And so the other thing that's kind of messed up about this is that Shane has a little boy, which means that that little boy he can't see his grandma or grandpa on that side of his family. And I know Shane misses his family very much and would love to be in touch with them. So, and to be honest, I'm sure that Shane's family would love to be in touch with him as well. It's just they're put in this terrible situation. And so if there are any grandmas watching, if you guys could just please send Shane some love and his son and wish him a happy birthday, and just let him know that he's important and loved and wonderful. He's sat down so many times with my son Archie and played the guitar and taught him little things, and I value him so much in my life, and he deserves to feel all the love in the world. So any sweet messages you guys can put in the comments, that would mean so much to me. All right, now I'm going to add the flour. It's 5 cups of flour, but I only have a half cup measurement clean, which is why I usually use weight, but I don't know the weight for this. So bear with me, count with me. It's going to be 10 of these. 1, 2, and actually let me make sure that's not wrong. Okay, it should actually be 4.5, which means that it would be 9 of these. Okay, I already did 2, so we're going for 9. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Perfect. All right, and I actually like mixing the chocolate chips at the same time as the flour, just so that there isn't a bunch of over mixing happening, because once you put the flour in, you really don't want to over mix, otherwise they get tough. Let's see how many chocolate chips we need. All right, so we basically just need 4 cups chocolate chips. And so that's 2 of these packages. So I'm going to put the flour in. The chips in. All right. Ooh, that's a lot of chocolate chips. I'm going to mix this up. All right. I'm just going to clean off this paddle. And I just mixed the flour and the chocolate chips in until they were like sort of just combined. And I will go through, I'll just reach the bottom now to make sure there's not any pile of butter sitting there or pile of flour that's not mixed in. But it looks like we're all good. So once this granola is done cooking, we can scoop these cookies. But these are looking perfect and yummy. Okay, the granola is all done now. I'm going to pull it out of the oven. Look at that, all nice and golden brown. And then I'm just going to let it sit here and cool off. And I'm not going to disturb it because I like it when it has some of the chunks still there. And when it's undisturbed, that's how it just gets a little more chunky. All right, here's this one. All right, and as soon as these have cooled off a little, then I will move this granola into a different place so we can use these pans. Okay, so the granola is cooling, and so now we're going to scoop these cookies. I have set the oven to 375, and it's just preheating now. All right. So the last person that I wanted to tell you about, whose birthday it is, in just a few days, is my friend Alden. And he also grew up at the ranch with me. And he is a wonderful person. He's honestly, he's one of the nicest people I've ever met. He's an amazing photographer. If you want to check him out on Instagram, his account is 360 Nomad. He lived in Vietnam for many years, and he just has the most beautiful stories of the people who live there and photographs of them. He's so talented. My whole family went to visit him there. Well, we were just going to Vietnam, and he happened to be there, and he took us around on a tour. He had us meet a bunch of locals there and eat a meal with them, and it was honestly so special. One of the most special times in my life and for my kids. And he is just an amazing conversationalist. He's a very caring person. He's a deep thinker, and he is also just another person who's absolutely wonderful to my kids. I feel like him and my son Archie just like the outdoors. Alden likes climbing. I'm probably saying the wrong word for that. But they just like outdoor stuff and nature, and so they nerd out about that stuff on the times when they've hung out. And he's just an all-around great person. And his mom and dad do not speak to him because they are still in Scientology. And I remember when I first spoke to Alden after many years of not seeing him because he was in Vietnam for so many years, I just remember him saying that there's something that's just like a little bit introverting about, like, if your own mom doesn't love you or doesn't talk to you, like, it's just sad. And I want Alden to feel like he has a family. And by the way, all of these guys are probably going to want to kill me for like spreading what they consider like a sob story, which it isn't. They all have amazing lives that they've created for themselves despite everything that they've been through and despite their circumstances. So it's not about like them like begging for sympathy. They don't even know I'm doing this. It's just about me wanting them to feel like they're loved and cared about by me and my kids. And I would love for them to feel that from you guys too, because you guys make me feel that way. And you guys leave the most awesome and supportive comments. So many kind people. There's a wonderful lady named Susan who sent me some handmade cards that she made so that I could send them with my packages. They're really beautiful. They have so many details on them, and just so I'll definitely be including her handmade cards to go with these little care packages. But just your guys' support has been everything to me, and I just would love Shane and Nathan and Alden to also feel that on their birthdays. And I actually won't be seeing them on their birthdays because I'll be out of town. So, but I'll have to meet up with them after. But they'll be getting this little care package, and so hopefully they'll like it. All right, so once I'm done scooping, I will put these in the oven for 9 to 12 minutes. My oven tends to be like lower in temperature than it should be, so probably do somewhere like 10, 11 minutes. But it's actually like these cookies, because they have so much butter, they get done pretty quickly, so I wouldn't overdo it because they're actually really good when they're a little bit underdone. But since I am mailing them, I don't want them to be too underdone. All right. Into the oven we go. Cookies are done. Perfect. Not too dark, not too light. Yummy. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to put together these care packages with some granola and some cookies and probably some passion fruit. But I know I've asked you a few times already, but if you wouldn't mind, please just going into the comments and leaving a sweet message for their birthdays for my friends Nathan, Alden, and Shane, and just show them some love, and that would mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much, and that's all I have for today. But if you could please check out Sins of Scientology on YouTube, and if you haven't read my book already, you can find it on Amazon. It's called Beyond Belief, My Secret Life Inside Scientology and My Harrowing Escape. Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful day.